guys.
have to put these on. Hey, Kimberly.
Hey, Kim.
Hey,
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Black Lotus Live, where we talk about all things strange and unusual. And tonight we're going to be talking about various things in the paranormal, everything under the paranormal umbrella. And tonight we also have Rich from GUFON back with us. And last time he was on the show, excuse me, we talked about what's wrong with ufology. And so we may be getting into that a little bit more too tonight. But
there's nothing wrong with it. It's perfect.
Yeah, especially with Anjali, right?
True. What is she?
What is she? I do want to make a special announcement at the top here. And last week we were talking about doing a second show every week on Thursdays, and we are not going to do that until after the first of the year. And the reason being is because of the holidays and all that stuff. You know, it's just kind of crazy right now. So after the first of the year, we'll start doing that. We'll do 2 shows a week. But that's about all I wanted to announce. Anything from you?
nah.
No?
That was a good show, man. Thank you for having me.
Glad you're here.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to start off the show tonight with Wild Trees, and he wants to talk about Bigfoot.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, so specifically I had, let me ask Rich if, I gave homework to everybody else, but let's see if Rich, have you heard of this YouTuber called Thunker?
I have. Yeah, but it's been a while, but yeah, of course.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about what I like about him and what's interesting about him. He finds all of these really obscure Bigfoot videos from all over the world. And it really surprised me. I was like, I thought it was just a Patterson Gimlin film, which I'll be honest is still the very best film we have. But there are so many videos that are filmed and sent to this guy, or he finds them. And honestly, they're all pretty shitty quality. They really are shitty quality. But this is where it's interesting. He's able to analyze them, even though they're shitty quality. He takes measurements and he does all these ratios. To me, the biggest discovery he's made was he analyzed the Patty Gimlin footage, and he analyzed a bunch of footage of just humans, basically humans. And what he did is he drew a ratio of how long a person's arm is to how long their legs are. So there's these 2 lines, and they represent a proportion that they are to each other. So then he runs this proportion by all kinds of humans. He's like Shaquille O'Neal, versus the Dalai Lama, just 2 different body types, women and men, and they all have the same ratio. So the arm length is the same length as it's the same proportion to the leg length. But then he analyzes Patty and a lot of other really compelling Bigfoot sightings, and the ratio is not off. It does not match at all. And that would be very hard to hoax because we're talking about a whole arm, and we're talking about the elbow bending and the wrist bending. So it wouldn't be impossible to make a suit that would fit these proportions. It's not impossible, but it would be one more thing to think about. And it would be, I don't know. So to me, this gives a lot of evidence, because he'll also find videos of Bigfoot and he'll say the proportion matches a human. I think it's a hoax. So I really like that kind of clever thinking about problems. And
yeah, there's a little problem with that though, because not everybody's designed the same to that proportion. Some people do have longer arms than they should for the leg length. There's basketball players that have 83-inch, wingspan, and they're only like 6'8", and they should be 7'8". So it's really, and you're also talking about whether a costume was made. Well, what if it was made wrong? What if it didn't fit or some? There's a lot of, I like that the guy's doing that kind of work too. I really do, because nobody's really doing that. But there are some flaws in there. So that's what still makes it fun, though, because nothing's perfect no matter what we do in this field or any field.
Exactly.
Let me ask you, Rich, do you believe in Bigfoot?
I was just talking to somebody about this in a private conversation a day before. I really don't know. Because if Bigfoot were to exist, it would have the ability to just disappear when it can. You know, just all of a sudden it's there, it's gone. People said they've seen it disappear or appear with the glittering like substance around it, like, you know, like a predator type of thing.
Right.
So I'm not like what?
Like it's interdimensional.
Yeah, like it's coming in and out of a different reality. Maybe, who knows? But that's the thing. We don't know. And what makes the most sense? It's people that are just seeing what they want to see, or it's a guy in a suit, or there really is Bigfoot. I think there is. And the reason I say that, because these things go back a long ways, 1,000 years, 2,000 years. And if the indigenous were here seeing them, and actually at one point apparently working alongside them, calling them the hairy man.
Right.
You know, it's really interesting. Yeah, I don't know, but if Bigfoot is here, I think it might have abilities we just can't understand.
Yeah. I'm not one to believe in the whole interdimensional thing. I'm more of a flesh and blood believer. I do think that they do exist. I've never seen one, but it's plausible that they could exist. And I don't know if I ever mentioned this to you, Rich, but I had a good friend of mine when I lived in Washington State who was an avid hunter. And he was out hunting elk one weekend. And he came back home and he said he was up in his tree stand. And he said suddenly all the birds went quiet. And he saw this thing walk out from into the clearing. And he says, I don't know what else to call it other than Bigfoot, you know. And he says, you know, I know what a bear looks like, and I know what a bear looks like when it's walking on its hind legs. And he said this thing didn't move like that; it moved like a human. And you know, he's on the middle of nowhere when he was hunting this thing. So, and the guy is a really down to earth kind of guy. He's not the kind of guy that would make up a story like this. And so, because of that, I believe in Bigfoot. You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know, in the last 40, pardon?
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, you know, since I've been a kid in the last 40 years, you know, just watching TV, reading documentaries and all sorts of things about it. Yeah, it seems like there really is a Bigfoot out there. The evidence, we don't have it, but we also know there's UFOs without actually having the evidence too.
Right.
So,
yeah,
same
exactly.
thing.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say that I believe in Bigfoot to a point. I think that there's some problem with not having any evidence, even though there's so many stories about it. But I think that it is personally possible that there's one out there.
Well, you got hunters.
Or several.
People have been hunting their whole lives, can't capture this thing. That to me is a little odd. So
Now,
is it mystical?
I was going to say, where it comes to things like lake monsters, I don't know if I believe in that, you know, and just that seems more implausible to me than the existence of Bigfoot.
But I had a theory about Bigfoot, since he lives in they live in a mountain or in where trees are. Is it possible that their existence, even before humans were farming and all that, they've been here, could they have made tunnel systems and caveways and actual like hollow out trees that they could hide in? You know, it went behind the tree. Then next thing you know, it never came out. Well, nobody ever tries to chop that tree down that he was by to see what's inside. Is it hollow? I would wonder if that's something they did, make a freeway system or a walkway system that they could hide from everything else, not just humans.
It's a good theory, you know.
Yeah,
Well,
as a biologist, I think there are several large, intelligent, undescribed species on this planet. And if I had the money, where I would look is places where humans don't travel often, which is underground. You know, underneath the crust of the earth. Humans, we make a mine every now and then. We do a little basement. That's about it. The bottom of the ocean, which is the majority of the planet, and the sky. These are the places where I would look for these new species. In other words, cryptids, basically.
Yeah. Well, the ocean, we've only, mapped out 5% of the...
Yeah.
That's crazy. We've done more on the moon and it's almost Mars now. So that's the pressures are unbelievable, but there's new species showing themselves all the time. Mm-hmm. You know, when they have those people that make the wells, the oil wells, and all that stuff. They have their cameras down there and see these shape-shifting objects that are totally legit. And it's like, wow, man, that's real. That's not fake. And it's 15,000 feet down. It's like,
I haven't heard about that shape-shifting.
oh, I have a video I could pull up. You wouldn't believe this thing. It's a real thing, and it lights up. You never seen it, and then it lights up. Looks like a squid at first, but it looks like a star-shaped thing, and it's just gliding. And then I guess it sees the camera, and then it does this thing, and it looks like it's wearing clothes, not, I don't know, like a cape or something. Then it starts spinning, and these lights come off of it. Not come off, but they light.
Wow.
Let me. I have it ready if you want to.
I have
I'll
it.
pull it
Yeah.
up. Give me a second. You've seen that before?
It sounds like a squid because squid have all those capabilities. They
Oh.
can,
Yeah, I've seen.
they could shapeshift literally with their bodies. They do bioluminesce. They do have lights, and they're very intelligent.
Wait until you see this thing, though. You never see
Yeah,
anything
let's
like
check that
it.
out.
A chameleon.
Yeah,
Hey,
light.
give me a
also-
second. Yep.
Also, unidentified said that it was on a Bigfoot hunt and got tracks and fur footage.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
and Bigfoot screaming.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Screaming for ice cream.
sure.
Just give me a second. I'll find it.
They've been also reported
Thought I had.
to be seen when, like a UFO is spotted or sighted.
Right.
Bigfoot will sometimes be shown or sighted as well, or vice versa. You either see the Bigfoot first and then the craft, or the craft first.
Oh yeah. I think there's some recent people have said that perhaps the phenomenon has the power to alter our perception, like alter what we see. I think that's true, and if that is, once we get more information about that, that means that maybe we're gonna clump together a lot of paranormal things. We used to think we're different. Maybe they're the same thing. It's just that this thing is like manipulating our thoughts, basically, our perception. So it's making us see all these weird things that really are not there. I think that's very possible. Yeah.
You know, like.
But
a lot
what
of,
about the footprints though?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm not saying in that instance that it could be altering our perception. I think there's, like I said, I think there's different causes of the paranormal. I think some of them is very mundane, like a real physical animal. Some of it is more esoteric. Right. It could be.
But the interesting thing about the friend being up in the hunting stand, that stand, whatever, all the birds went quiet, you know, and the sounds of the forest. And that's interesting. I've heard that more than once. So does it give off this wave?
Well, it's
You know what I
either
mean?
that or maybe it has a certain smell.
Oh, right. Yeah, but the whole area?
Like,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah,
I think
know.
bottom line.
like a predator.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, bottom line, I think it means it's doing something that's detectable by wildlife, which humans we're not as we're not as keen observers as wildlife. Wildlife has, so it could be a sound, ultrasonic sound. It could be something in a different light spectrum. It could be a vibration. It could be an electrical discharge. These are all things that humans are not good at detecting. So I think wildlife is just able to detect some aspect of it that humans cannot detect. Is what it sounds like.
Oh, I got the video, so
All right.
I'll share it with you here.
Awesome.
Let me just do that. Alien-looking creature transforming near ocean floor. And whenever you're ready, it's about a minute or so, but this is definitely worth a watch. You'll have to share it for me.
Yeah.
There we go, and there it is. So there's no sound really, just pretty much it. Now, what you're seeing here looks nothing like what's going to happen. This is real. It's not fake. It's not CGI. This is definite by the Oceanic something or another. You know that. You know who they are if I said the name.
NOAA or something.
Something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Oceanic aerial.
Yeah. But they were looking down there, looking for damage, I guess, to the rig, and saw this thing, thought it was interesting to videotape it. Actually, I think Unidentified S4 gave this to me in the chat room. I've seen it over the year. Here it goes. So it detected it. Watch this. There's the cape. And can we have it spin, please, Bob? Hit the spin. Make it spin, Bob.
Wow.
Yeah.
Spin. Oh, it will. It's so weird.
To me, it does look like a cephalopod.
But isn't it a
squid?
Squid-like.
Species that does that? All of them.
Wow.
I always thought that end part there looked fake to me. But like right here where it takes off, it's kind of weird how the screen looks, and I almost think it is fake. But they said it's not. They actually talked about it in another video.
But it looks
You're right
like
there.
at the very end, it looks like it's shooting out like ink. You know, like a
Oh,
squid
yeah?
would shoot out ink. That's
Oh,
what
I
it
didn't
looks
see
like to
that.
me.
You mean right at this point? Like the end?
Yeah,
Let's see.
when it's turning around.
Oh, it looked like
It
it
does,
separated. Yeah, it did. Something came off of it, like it released
Yeah.
something. Good catch.
When was this released, Rich? Do you know?
I could find out here. Let's see. It was a few years ago for sure. This was at 4,000 years ago. It doesn't say here. But I remember, 2013.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2013. That's when it was, so around 2012, 2013. Here it is, 3,700 feet, not 14,000. Must be another video I saw, but they see all sorts of weird things. You know, that long-looking thing that had the long legs, the spiderfish,
Yeah. Yeah.
had 100-foot thing that came out from under it. It was weird, but it was real.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said, we're always discovering new
deeper-
things, you know?
Yeah. But
Right.
we
The
lose
deeper you go,
species
the
every
weirder
day.
they look.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no light. Tons and tons of pressure like you wouldn't believe.
Right.
How do they survive when we can't? You know, we can't because we're not from there. They are. It's bizarre.
Right. There has to be a different economy down there. The economy of land is an economy of sunlight and plants. That's what drives the economy. That's what everybody starts eating. So down there, you don't have sunlight. So I think you have high pressure, high heat vents, volcanic geothermal vents.
Oh, yeah.
That's their version of the sun. So that probably generates a lot of life, like small amounts of life, maybe bacteria are growing because of the heat. And then that bacteria is eaten by crabs and small, tiny fish, maybe. We know the chain goes all the way up to colossal squid, which is larger than the giant squid. So we know there is an economy of food down there without the sun, probably with these heat vents providing energy.
That makes sense, yeah.
Terry, Kim, what are your thoughts on this?
I am just, I really think it's highly possible about all the Bigfoots and stuff, but that squid thing, I think that's something completely different. But it's really, it's extremely fascinating. I'm here in the chat trying to say hi to Off-World Adam, who just joined us. So, hi. My computer's being slow and
As far as I-
uncooperative as usual.
How about
As
you,
far as
Kim?
I go, I believe that there are Bigfoot. I believe that there's a lot of different things, a lot of cryptids that we don't know of. We've only heard of in folklore and what has been handed down, but yet there's always a base of truth of everything. As far as Bigfoot, they've been seen, they've been, tracked. Just like I said last week, that there's been ones that's even been killed. But that's a different program right there. We've got to keep our minds open because there's been reports of them on every continent, going hundreds and thousands of years back. There's been pictures drawn on cave walls, a whole series of things. The Native Americans and natives from other countries as well have written and talked about them and handed down the information as well through the years.
Right.
Well, here's my question: how can we get clear footage of this squid-looking thing, but we can never get clear footage of Bigfoot or UFOs for that matter?
Well,
Because this is
it
in
could
the
be,
depths of the ocean. Go ahead. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I was just going to say because it's probably true that they are of interdimensional and multidimensional as well, and they have the ability. As we know, that there's many gateways or vortexes that are all over the world. Who's to say that they aren't able to be right there next to one, or even be able to create one at their will?
That's what I was going to say almost, because a fish isn't going to talk to us about anything, but Bigfoot might. And, why would they want it? For all we know, it could be an experiment. Nah, it can't be. I was going to say because they've been around for thousands of years.
Right.
Yeah.
So that has to go out the window, yeah.
What I was going to say is the reason why that's a good photograph, a video, is because number one, those the people in that oil company they were prepared and they had money. Like, they weren't prepared to get a really close-up photo of a monster. They weren't prepared to get a good close-up photo of their equipment. So they spent a lot of money on a camera, and they were prepared to get good photographs. They just happened to be lucky and
They had the high technology.
Yeah, and then most people who are walking around looking for Bigfoot, I feel like, I don't know, they don't really have the best cameras for something that's far away, because you need a zoom lens and you need a steady hand for that kind of photography.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
and
hardest
it's-
thing.
there's
to have
sightings
is
are
More
so
on
brief.
sound from them.
I'm sorry, Kim, say that again?
I said they've had more on sound from the Bigfoots than anything.
Yeah.
They're howling in the distance and that kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
have
the
you guys
knocking and
seen-
everything too.
sure, right. But, so what are everybody's thoughts on psychics, like being on paranormal investigations?
I think some are fake and some are real. I don't think we can trust them all. I think a lot of them are scam artists,
Yeah, yeah.
but there are the ones that, do seem like they were true.
Well, I don't know what show it is. The girl who goes around, and then the detective that comes in and gets drawings and stuff like that of what she sees. I like that because they go in at different times, but I don't like that it's on TV, because it's TV. But if you're going to have a psychic come along with you, have them do it either at a different time or a different area. Well, don't be where you're at. Don't talk to each other the whole time, and then share notes when you're done and see how accurate you both are. It's the only way to keep it sanitary, I think.
Yeah, I have to agree
That
with
makes
you.
sense.
And nobody does that. And you know what else they
I believe
shouldn't
too
do?
much.
Pardon? What's that?
No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Go ahead.
I
I was just thinking that maybe I
Yeah.
think that there's too much equipment.
Oh my God, it's like we're on the same page. I was just going to say, I wish they would go in with maybe one camera instead of setting up 10 or 20. And I understand why they do that, but they shouldn't even talk about why they're there. Don't say, hey, let's put a camera here.
Right.
Because the ghosts are listening. Just walk in, make believe you're going to buy the house and trick them.
There you go.
And maybe they'll come out. That's a great idea. Nobody's ever done that.
No, I like that, Rich, because I think we have to be sneaky with the paranormal. We have to pretend like we're spies, and we can't just do the same tactics we've been doing on regular animals and regular.
And they're used to it now. If they're real and they've been watching people coming and going, for every day for years, they know why you're there. Act like you're buying the place, or you're going to destroy it even. Maybe they're going to take this place down and have a camera on your shoulder, and see what happens.
See, sometimes I wonder that if the ultimate cure for stopping paranormal activity is the strong desire to catch it on film.
Yeah.
So if you had a family who didn't want this to be there, be like, okay, we're going to get rid of your paranormal activity. What we're going to do is we're going to get cameras in there 24/7. We're going to start a show. It'll probably go away. It doesn't want to be seen by that
That's
much.
a really good idea to get rid of them.
Yeah. Do the opposite. Reverse
Because
psychology.
nobody's ever died on camera.
That's true.
No, really. Has anybody ever gotten seriously injured from a spirit or ghost? Anybody?
I'm not aware. I am not aware of any.
Me
that
neither.
ever happened.
No, I do know of one person who was physically attacked in her home. So was her husband. But it wasn't really a spirit. It was more of a demonic entity. But yeah, her story is kind of scary, actually.
I've been in a few discussions, a few shows where we talked about are aliens demons or vice versa. Or are they one and the same? Could these, could they be?
I think they're one and the same. One time I said, there's this whole subset of knowledge called demonology. And a lot has been written about demons. And I think if they're one and the same, if that was just their way of describing our aliens, there could be some good information in there. We don't have to believe it literally without, following some of their... If they have methods for avoiding these things, for getting a leg up, then we shouldn't throw those away necessarily. I also was going to say, as far as psychics, I will give my 2 cents as a scientist. So I think psychic abilities do exist. I think they vary in strength. I think all of us possess the ability to have some psychic abilities if we practice meditation, but that's it takes up a lot of time and not a lot of people are going to do it. And I also think I think there's a lot of fraudsters, definitely a lot of fraudsters. That's a bad thing. But there's this research paper I want to mention. It was published in a legit scientific journal. The journal was called the American Psychological Association. The American Psychological Association, I think it's been around for hundreds of years. But they published this paper. This is the title of the paper that says, The Experimental Evidence for Parapsychological Phenomenon, a Review. So the experimental evidence for parapsychological evidence. So this was a research paper published in a legit scientific journal with medical doctors. It was a meta-analysis. A meta-analysis is when you do your own study based on other studies' results. So you gather a bunch of other studies, but they did the results. You reanalyze them together, and it did find that there is evidence for parapsychological phenomenon in the laboratory. That is the result of that research paper.
And remote viewing has been known to be real too. And I could say from personal experiences, I've been accurate on a few things. Now, I was asking Wild Trees, and maybe all of you too, are they one and the same, aliens and maybe demons? Well, I believe, it's my theory, that we are living right now we're a light being, and we're injected into the womb when the heart and the brain start going, I think. And that you may want to call that the soul, but it's really us inside, just using this body. And when it leaves, I believe we go back to where we came from, whatever it is, and then we visit and come back and look like what we did when we were alive. And that's the ghosts and spirits. We really like being human and we miss it. Maybe we come back to, say hi. I don't know, man. I'm just trying to, see how it all ties in together, because nobody's ever talking about it that way.
I think that could very well be true. It sounds valid to me. I am sure there is some kind of afterlife. I don't know what form it takes. But here's something that I think we should not forget. We should not forget how amazing humans are and how amazing the human experience is. We have cheesecake, we got fine music, we have sex, we have marijuana. We have all these wonderful things. And think of the stories that humans tell each other, Think about you being an alien and hearing about all these amazing things humans have done. So I think the human experience is very remarkable. And I think a lot of people or things out there are jealous of the human experience. They are fascinated by us. They want to be us. And if we die, we would want to come back to it. We would want to visit it again.
Every day I wake up, I love looking at the sunrise. It's beautiful.
Yep,
Pardon?
It is.
Who's to say that there isn't other humans on other planets, and we're not the only humans there are?
For sure.
We're just the only ones that we know about. There are human-like aliens that's been reported, such as the Nordic, the Pleiadians. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean and I'm going to touch on the fact that has anybody ever talked to anybody that's had near-death experience where they passed on, seen other people, but nobody's ever reported on ever seeing dead aliens that's passed on?
Oh, wow.
Dinosaurs, none of that. Cavemen. We only see human-like people.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I never thought about that.
Well, maybe it's the entry we're
Right.
seeing, the entryway, and that's who greets us there. Things that make us not freak out so much.
That's what I think, actually. We have a
I mean-
lot of people on our podcast that have experienced NDEs, and and they all report basically the same thing, and some
Right,
report that they
exactly.
see people who have passed on in their family, loved ones, and that kind of thing. But that's pretty rare.
Sure.
They do see other people there, but they don't necessarily know them. But it's only people, and so I think you're right, Rich. I
Right.
think it's our own experience. I mean, maybe aliens, when they die, they have their own experience
Is
as
it
well.
separated?
Of course.
Yeah, is the dimension separated for as far as death goes?
I would
Yeah.
think
But then
so.
they say that they say that we've been on other planets as well. Well, would we not know ourselves then as well?
Maybe
Would that not be
maybe
another-
it's well, maybe it's temporary. It's only from maybe it's like you're turning off the system. You're going offline, so it's all your memories following you out as you descend or ascend away from what you once were. So you're only going to see what you recently experienced.
Yeah,
what?
or just like a temporary, or it could be just like a temporary envisionment, because our spirit is basically it doesn't have a physical form once it leaves a body.
Yeah. Man, that's the greatest mystery of all right there, man.
If we knew the answer to that, we would all be rich.
Kim, excuse me. You had mentioned that you wanted to talk about one specific psychic, and I can't remember the person's name.
That would be Hal Holzer.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he was a very well-renowned psychic, and he worked in the paranormal. His daughter is working in the paranormal now. He worked with a lot of different psychics as well. He would go to, matter of fact, he did Amityville as well. He did long before that ever actually became a famous thing.
Awesome.
There's a lot
Are
of pioneer psychics as well that can be brought up and easily, just like Ruth Montgomery as well. And we have Edgar Casey.
Right. I've heard that name before.
Or David Wilcock. Well, he says, he's the reincarnation of him. That's why.
Did he
Yeah,
say that? I didn't
he
know that.
does resemble him.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, he really does resemble him
What a
when he was
lunatic.
younger. That's true.
He looks like an alien.
He really does. Every day he's just getting more like, maybe he is, man. And we're laughing at him. You never know.
Who were
I
we
would-
talking about last
sometimes-
night?
He
Damien?
could be
I
a
said it looked
hybrid.
like-
Yeah.
So I got a question. You never hear about Men in Black reports anymore. I mean, it used to be that whenever somebody reported an experience, immediately there's black helicopters showing up, and these guys are showing up at the door and intimidating everybody. You never hear about that anymore. Did they ever really exist? Because I'll tell you what, I've been very open about the experiences that I've had, and nobody's come knocking on my door. So I just wonder if they ever existed at all.
I think they existed. I
Okay.
just think that
I
nowadays,
believe he did.
yeah, I just think nowadays they're not as necessary because people are just thinking that they're fake or people are crazy when they're talking about it.
Well, that's
So
always
it's-
been the case, though.
So, yeah,
So I don't know.
Well,
I think maybe it's
I think
because
it's
it's
'cause
so
people
exposed
are
now, like through
just-
YouTube and that kind of thing, and podcasts that
Right.
people are more accepting of it. But who knows? I don't know. What are
They-
your
I
thoughts?
believe the same thing.
Mythology.
They have changed their clothing to fit in more now. I think that's one thing that's changed, why we don't see them being talked about, because they figured we can't walk around in suits and a fedora anymore. It's not the 50s.
Right.
It's not even the 60s. So they had to adjust, I think. I've got on video what I called the Men in Black now look like this, because the guy videotaped me and I got him videotaping me in the middle of the street. And it was kind of weird. Yeah, I was followed
I
that
think
day.
I remember you telling us about that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I got it on video. I showed it on my show, and it's really weird because it actually looks like the guy's wearing the big nose and the funny mustache, and all that. It's kind of odd. It's a really odd video.
So what's the new outfit? What is the new get up?
Well, he was wearing just jeans and a t-shirt, man. He looked like a hippie.
Yeah.
He looked like
something to fit in. Yeah.
Yeah, to fit in.
Something
Instead
to
of
fit
standing-
in.
They're not approaching people
Maybe
anymore.
they're hybrids.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe.
but maybe they're hybrids. It would make it a lot easier to communicate and to get information.
I have this Men in Black stuff is making me think about something. This is probably one of the top tier craziest things that I'm currently believing. This is the one I would not tell on a first date, but I think I've heard James Fox talk about this. James Fox told him somebody told him this in Power. James Fox is a filmmaker. Me and Rich are big fanboys.
Oh yeah.
But I think there are quote unquote aliens on this planet. I don't know where they're from. I don't know how long they've been here, but I know they understand technology very well enough to travel in UFOs, flying saucer. Now, I think there's nothing stopping them, and I think it's happening right now, that there are aliens in disguise as humans living among us, and they take advantage of the fact that they're aliens. Why wouldn't that be a thing? I just don't know. There's a little bit of evidence, but I'm just like, why? They are interested in us. They do like to look at us from the sky. Why not just dress up as a human and look at us head on? Yeah.
There's a video I've got to show you. You just segued perfectly what I wanted to show. This just came out. This is the head of Pfizer. And it looks like he has a thing like a frog. His whole throat is moving. You want to see it? I mean, Pfizer,
Yeah.
and they want us to take that thing in the arm, and I mean, this is really strange.
Let's see it.
All right, let me pull it up because I have it here. Here we go. And let me move it over to this screen. Now, I don't want anybody to get scared. I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying this is the guy who may be what we've just been talking about, a hybrid alien running the one, if not the largest, in the world.
Makes sense. He wouldn't be a cashier at the pharmacy, that's for sure.
All right, let me share it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, how's he going to take over the world that way? All right, let me do this. It says CEO of Pfizer does the weirdest thing you've ever seen. Okay, so here we go. Share it. And where's that play button? I'm hitting it. Oh, you got to be kidding me. How come it's not playing? You guys see a play button anywhere?
No.
All right, let me do this. I hate to do that. Live radio.
I'll tell another story about a
Yeah,
possible reptilian. Okay, so this video is on YouTube. You can watch Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan, the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, hit rock band from the 90s. Great band. He was on Joe Rogan. He said, I'll summarize the story. He said he was in a room with a radio executive or a music executive. They were alone. He said the music executive's face changed into something else that was not human. He said then that Billy Corgan asked the man about it. The man acknowledged that it did happen. They both acknowledged it. And that's all the details he's willing to give.
And years later, it happened again with the same guy.
Oh, it did. I didn't hear this follow-up. That's crazy.
Yeah, it happened twice with the same guy. He said years later, like 15 years later. He thinks that the guy was like trying to subconsciously tell him by showing him, but not saying it.
Oh.
Isn't that wild?
That is very cool.
Yeah, that's a cool story.
Where did you hear that second part of that story?
I'll have to find it. It was in an interview he did. It was on a TikTok thing I was watching. So,
okay, got it.
All right, here we go.
Oh,
And if there's
Pfizer.
one, there's more.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, many more.
In clip 11. So let's roll clip 11 so you can see the enhanced zoom in on his neck. He's doing an interview on NBC, and I mean, I don't talk about lizard people, but have you ever seen that before? Look at this.
I tried to do that. It doesn't work.
What have you learned about serious side effects in this vaccine? As you know, we're
Weird, right?
That's
On his neck. He's doing an interview on NBC, and I mean, I don't talk about lizard people, but have you ever seen that before? Look
That's
at this.
amazing. Oh, man.
What have you learned about serious side effects in this vaccine? As you know,
That's crazy.
Serious side effects. What?
Perfect timing.
And you won't get any claims with that. It was
It's
okay
like
to
he
play.
swallowed a
because-
fucking fish.
Now, I tried to do that, and there's no way in heck that was going to work, man. No way. That is weird. So, could be right in front of our face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, since, it was brought up, I thought that would be funny to show because some people say the Queen is one of those, reptilioids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Queen of England.
Yeah. And
Which she's not.
if I had to further elaborate, on
I
this
heard the
crazy-
whole family.
Yeah, right. The bloodline.
If I had to elaborate on this crazy idea about ETs under control of us, from what I've heard, it seems that the hierarchy is reptilian. They control everything. They're at the very top.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I've heard. I sound like a crazy person when I say that. More so than normal. More so than normal when I say that. But
Why would it be so
But it's
odd?
true.
What if it is? Yeah.
biologically, it's not odd at all. It's actually odd if that wasn't happening because biologically, we have all these animals who manipulate and control other animals. It's just the way it is. There's always a lion for every mouse. You know what I mean? There's a leech for every frog. I think we're wrong in thinking that we're top dog on this planet. I believe we are being manipulated. We're not the number one species. And I think whatever's doing it is it's got an amazing form of shapeshifting or camouflage. We know camouflage is a thing. Chameleons can change their skin color. But I think whatever's in control, this intelligent thing, what they've done is they've done what's called a cultural camouflage. Now, most camouflage works just like, visual. Like you visually can't see you. But to me, a cultural camouflage would be that you present yourself in such a way that a whole culture cannot see you. Which just seems like it's what's happening with these paranormal entities. I mean, yeah, we kind of have hints that they're there, but by and large, they are camouflaged to our society. Culturally, we do not recognize UFOs as a real thing.
There's a lot of inbred within the royal family itself. If you go back and check,
Oh yeah,
keep all of that. The money's all kept in. Oh yeah, and not only that, but the Rothschilds as well.
oh yeah.
That's why they're all so screwed up.
Yeah.
Well, they married the nieces and sisters or whatever, the cousins. That's the bloodline. They kept the bloodline because of money and power.
But why would they do something that is biologically bad for them? You're not supposed to do that because of the spin-offs that happen. They could be, not
And
as
they have. There
intelligent
has
or-
been. They've kept those. They've put those away, and they're not talked about. The one that was put into a like a nursing home or whatever and taken care of. Yeah, it happened for sure.
Yeah. But it's weird.
So,
just for-
Rich,
Yeah.
what's going on in ufology right now? And the reason I ask this is because next week is Thanksgiving, and apparently something big is supposed to drop before that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, according to Lou, yeah. Well, he didn't say specifically when, but I have heard through other grapevines that about 5 weeks ago there was going to be an announcement that something major will advance us about 20 years technologically. That was the announcement that was going to be made anytime from when I mentioned it to Thanksgiving. Now, it would make sense that Lou and Leslie Keane and Christopher Mellon and friends were doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, which Leslie Keane has tweeted, hey, it may be silent, but doesn't mean we're not working hard. And then Lou making the cryptic tweet or announcement on Twitter that, all quiet on a home front, but something is, near or something. He made some sort of speech, like that. So something may be in the works that would make sense if they dropped it right before the major holiday like Thanksgiving. So these next 3 days that are coming up, I think Wednesday they would drop it, because then it gives 4 days for it to gestate in the population. And then Monday, every reporter and every news team can be ready for, for talk about it and gather intelligence on it. But we've heard this many, many times before, and nothing happened. So who knows, man? I think something is going to happen very soon. An announcement.
I think people are waiting around with bated breath, just like they were when that UFO report dropped. And once we got it, we didn't get shit, and who knows what Congress actually got, but, certainly not what we got,
Well, we know that there's going to be the Astro, that office is going to be named Astro. I forget what the acronym stands for, but that's going to be the office inside the DOD of the Pentagon. So that is really going to happen, most likely, 95% chance that'll go through in 2022. So we will have a permanent UAP office inside the Pentagon. So that's going to happen, which is good, but we're still not going to see anything, even though they're supposed to annually send all their findings to Congress, but that won't happen. Like we think.
It doesn't mean we're going to get to see anything.
Yeah.
Right. I just wonder why they're doing this Astro thing. I mean, don't we already have ATIP?
Well, ATIP was supposed to be on the hush-hush, just like OSAP. But this is going to be something that makes it official. And we can go to our allies and get their information on what they've seen, what UAPs are within their government. So it opens up a lot of doors. And it also, it's supposed to open doors for the public. They're supposed to be transparent by sending any and all things that they find and learn about to Congress annually. Mm-hmm. So we'll see, but the office is there, and now things will be documented officially for once. Not a Project Blue Book, not a Majestic 12. It's real. Real.
It's not going to be whitewashing. An open place for whitewashing.
Yeah, of course. But we'll be watching, though, so... Yeah. We'll find the holes. They leave little breadcrumbs for us to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they have to do that.
You have to do it slowly. I mean, if we are ever going to get any official disclosure, it's got to be like a snail's pace, because you can't just come out and say, "Hey, there's these intelligent things that could abduct you at any time. Goodbye, have fun."
But you know what they do? They give us so much, and then they go away for 6 months. Everybody forgot about everything at that point.
That is an annoying and true thing that happens.
Yeah, it's done on purpose.
So what else is going on in ufology? One of the things I like about your show, GUFON, is that every time I watch, I learn something new.
Do you?
Yeah. Believe it or not.
I do too. I really do. I get people and I love them. I have the best fans. They send me stuff daily. And, every now and then I'll be like, wow, I didn't even know that. That's unbelievable. So I don't know what else is going on here. I'm trying to think. Other than that UAPTF is going to be gone, for the official office. I can't remember right now. I can't think. It'll come to me in a second.
Well, I saw Jeremy Corbell is still posting things on Facebook, at least, so he's still got a little pulse in him. Let's see how long he lasts in ufology.
Well, he said that he's leaving ufology because he can't take it anymore. He can't take the criticism.
Right, I heard that.
But it must be slow. I mean, it's a slow withdrawal if he is, because, like I said, he's still posting UFO stuff.
He is? I haven't seen anything UFO from him.
Yeah, on Facebook, he posted about how... Well, this was in the news. So somebody in the military said that UFOs buzzing warships may be from extraterrestrial origin. Did you hear about that? That was recently said.
Yeah, that goes back to the Russell. That was the Boca video. With the bright triangle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
That goes back to that, I think. So he's not... Yeah, and I think I'm blocked on his Facebook.
No.
So that's probably why, yeah.
I can't imagine why, Rich.
Oh, that never happened.
I kind of want to get on your shit list, Rich. I want to get on your shit list just so you can give me a hilarious nickname. I'm going to start frauding. Be careful. I'm gonna start frauding.
It has to be natural. I can't think of something. It just has to happen
I know.
organically.
That's what I'm saying. I got to do a fraud, and you got to expose me, and then give me this name.
Wild trees. Trees with no leaves. I can see right through this guy.
I was watching.
There you
It's that
go.
quick. It happens that quick.
What's the name of that channel? UFO Man, and he had an interview with Calvin Parker yesterday. And
It
I
was
thought
unbelievable.
really good. This guy. This is one of the few people that claim abduction that I truly believe. And the reason for that is because of the way he comes across and because of the story specifically about what took place in the police station when they left the recorder on.
Yep.
And they weren't talking about how, well, I don't know if they're going to believe us about this. And what do you think? And talking about a hoax. They were talking about something that had really happened to them and they were terrified. So, I completely believe this guy's story.
100%. I'm going to have him on the show eventually, too. I was going to have him on before. Huh? What was that?
I was just going to say I've interviewed him a couple times myself, and he's definitely genuine. Yeah, he's definitely genuine. He's very down to earth. There's no reason to even question what he went through. That's for sure. I
tried to get him on the show,
but yeah.
I was just going to mention, I was trying to get him on Black Lotus or our podcast, one of the two back when, but he was going through chemotherapy and he wasn't feeling up to any interviews at the time.
You have to contact Philip Mantle. He handles all his business. I've been meaning to contact Calvin Parker, but I got to do it through Philip Mantle. He's on Facebook.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he officially handles his business.
Okay.
That is a great story, but it's weird with the aliens. The aliens looked like athletes, 300-pound linebackers. With these, and they floated to them, like really fast. It was just what an amazing story.
And on the ship, there was a humanoid woman alien that looked different. So there was two types.
Yeah. And she talked to them telepathically.
Oh yeah. That case has got so much strong evidence. It's almost like, look, wrap it up. That's all we need. It happened to this guy. It's real. Let's get to the bottom of this.
But I'll tell you, the aliens he
but you always have the
encountered
few
didn't
that
look
want
like any
tangible evidence.
The aliens that they encountered didn't look like any aliens that I've ever heard of before. They had the big cone noses and cones sticking out of their ears, and like I said, they were built like football players.
Yeah, it goes back to that time, though. If you think about what football players looked like, they weren't that big back then. The biggest person was like 260 maybe. But, to have this and that protruding, and when they were at the cop station and the officer purposely left his recorder running to hear what they were going to say. I'm really scared, man. I'm not going to be able to sleep. This is unbelievable. Don't worry. Do you want me to help you sleep? No, I'll be all right. That's all they talked about. It was amazing. That really happened.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it completely.
So it's not human. That's not a human or humans. That's alien. See, there's cases that just amaze me. Travis Walton used to amaze me, not anymore though.
Yeah, not so much.
No.
Not so much. I believed his story for the longest time, but now that I'm hearing more and more about him and his buddy, whatever his name is, I can't remember. Mike
Rogers.
There you go. The more I'm hearing about these two, the more I'm thinking, no, it was all hoax.
What about the? Have you guys heard of the Texas Cache Landrum?
Of course.
That's very close to where I live. So I'll give you a brief summary. This case has a lot of physical evidence, and it has a lot of illness, unfortunately. So I live in southern Texas near NASA. NASA headquarters, basically. And there was a back road. This was back, I don't remember when it was, several decades ago.
67, I think.
67. So there was a mother driving with an older lady who was a neighbor, and then the mother's child, which was a boy. They were all driving down this little Texas back road near NASA, and he saw this glowing UFO that was like radiating heat. And it looked like it was melting, and there were like military vehicles around it. Now, I think the mother, somebody in the car was like, "This is a religious experience. I need to get out of the car." And then the other woman was like, "Don't do it. It's too dangerous." But anyway, a lot like the dashboard got all soft and like melty. It was extreme like heat. And then when they finally went home, I think they all got very sick, very, very sick.
It was 1980. My apologies.
1980. Thank you, Rich.
There's so many back in those days.
Of course. So that's an interesting case. Because it's odd, because it's like, what's going on with this UFO? Why is it being followed by the military? Why is it melting and producing all this radiation? Is that normal? Was this like a damaged ship? Did somebody damage a UFO and it was just?
Do you know really what? I know what happened. There was a story of a guy who used to work there, came out and told us that that ship, they tried they did have an alien craft, and they were trying to back engineer the propulsion, and they couldn't get it to work. So what they did, they replaced the propulsion that they were trying to back engineer with a nuclear powered engine that they had created.
That good.
So what had happened is they were transferring it from one base to another, and along the ways the thing started to have problems and was hovering above the road, which is why they got radiation sickness and the heat, because they were taking it from one place to the next, and it got out, and
amazing.
So that's why it was back engineered, but it didn't work. So they used a regular. Well,
didn't the one lady get out of the car?
Yeah, she got out to look at it. It was really hot, and then she got back in. The dash was melting. Her hand.
Yeah, she ended up losing her hair, and she had blisters and everything. Yeah, they got radiation poisoning and was taken to the hospital.
And they tried suing.
They did try suing. They got a lawyer and everything, and I think rightfully should have been paid.
Right?
That was the military.
Try suing who?
The government.
Okay.
But they lost because there's no proof. Yeah. So then, if you're going to sue the government and you're saying there was something that was above us and carried away with, 4 Chinooks, whatever they're called, Chinooks, helicopters, then what was it that gave them radiation? Something gave them the poisoning. So they should have paid them something.
Yeah.
But then that's admitting
that
they were. That stinks.
Yeah.
Because then it opens up for other people to make believe that they saw a UFO.
Oh, right. That's true as well. Damn.
So,
this is my steps. This is what I think. And this is my advice. If you ever see a UFO, this is what you should do. This is what I will do. I see a big UFO in the sky. Okay. I know they could probably telepathically read my thoughts. So this is what I'm going to think. I'm going to think, that's a good-looking UFO. Whoever's inside it is awesome. They're handsome. They're rich. They're powerful. I'm going to turn around now, and when I wake up, it'd be great if you could put, a million crisp $100 bills under my bed. I know you can do it. Anyway, goodbye. And that's what I would do. I would not get closer.
that's genius, man.
Yeah.
That is genius.
Yeah.
I'm going to
try it out.
That's wild trees.
The safest thing you can do.
That's so true. Why not?
So I think we're going to get out of here for the night.
We will be out there trying to take pictures.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I'd be trying to take a picture.
That's what you don't do. That's what gets you probed. That's what gets you probed. We're trying to make money here.
Party!
Yeah, the Men in Black will be after you.
I was on a podcast the other night, and it's the podcast Mostly Ghostly, and we were talking about my own abduction experience. And at the end, he asked me, he said, who do you believe? And I said, I believe anybody who's not trying to make money off of their story. I mean, and I pointed out, that's me. I'm not trying to make money off of this. What I'm trying to do is let people realize who have gone through something like this, that they're not crazy and they're certainly not alone. And that's my whole agenda.
Exactly.
I'm not going to write a book about this. I mean, I think it would be kind of a boring book, to be honest with you. But I mean, and so I respect people that aren't trying to make money off of their experience, I mean, and so But anyway, I think we're going to get out of here for the night. Rich, thank you so much for joining us again. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Avec plaisir. Thank you for having me. It was fun. It went by so fast. An hour, I can do this.
An hour does go by fast. It really does.
I loved it. Thanks for having me.
It
man.
does.
So glad you came.
Thank
Folks
you.
in
Yeah, I'm glad
the
you
folks
guys-
who are watching, folks in the chat room, I see a lot
Thank
of
you, Hank.
Gufonians here tonight. But if you haven't seen Rich's channel, GUFON here at YouTube, most definitely go check it out. I guarantee you're going to enjoy it. Again, I always learn something whenever I go there, and because he's probably one of the best ufologists that I've ever known, and he's got just a well of information in his head.
Tons of knowledge.
And beyond that, beyond that, it's entertaining, you know. So
It's funny. It's very
like,
funny.
not like
Thank
us, where
you.
we're kind of boring here, you know. But anyway, so I dropped a link to GUFON in the description. It's the first link there. Most definitely go check it out.
Thanks. man.
Speaking of links, if we are not yet monetized by YouTube, but we do have a page at Buy Me a Coffee, and so if you like what we do here, hey, do us a favor and go donate something. It'd be great. Yeah, and just want to thank everybody for being here. It was a pretty good show, I think. And,
It was awesome. And you're going to be doing 2 shows
Yeah.
a week next year.
Yes, yes. I mentioned that at the
Yes.
top of the hour.
You got to do it now.
After we will. After the new year, though.
You're going to love it.
We're gonna do it on Sundays and Thursdays.
Nice.
So,
That's
yeah.
what I used to do. Those are great days.
Yeah.
They really are. No, I used to do Sunday, Thursdays. It splits it
Did
up
you?
perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
But yeah. Anyway, everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell. And because of the what's it called? Shadow something?
Shadow banning?
Shadow banning. Yeah. Make sure when you hit the bell, make sure you hit all. And I think that helps with the shadow banning thing, because if you just hit subscribe, you'll be notified that we're going to be on the air, but not very often, apparently, because we've had some subscribers come and tell us that they weren't notified until like the day or two after, you know, and I don't know if that's a glitch with Facebook or if it's something where where YouTube is going after paranormal channels, because I'm hearing a lot of paranormal channels saying the same thing. So
Right.
make sure you hit all. So, all right, folks, thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, keep thinking and question everything, especially Jerry Van Corbell.